Petri dish, the Petri dish, the Petri dish.
This is
The Petri dish, the Petri dish, the Petri dish. This is the Petri dish. There's something growing in here, and thank God it's not inside me this week. Yep, I fought the bacterial infection. That's how I'm starting this episode. Helping me fight bacteria today is a wonderful local comedian who I don't know I've had on my podcast yet. He's been here in the house before, but for same problems, and there are much more on their having guests schedule, where I'm just like, hey, roommates, be on again, because you're here. So it's Mr. David Gamble Jr. Welcome. Welcome to the show.
That's me applauding myself, just in case the listeners are wondering.
You just got to get it however you can.
Yeah, you know. Yeah. That's usually how I get it.
And so let's see. What have you just did a co-headlining spot at Pioneer last night, right?
I did, yes.
Yeah,
a couple of nights
ago.
2 nights ago.
Yeah.
Yes. It was very exciting. It was whenever I have to do whenever somebody gives me more time, I just get more nervous.
Yeah, you're like, oh, I know how to do like a 5 real quick. Yeah. I could do a 15 if I wanted.
Yeah. I get a lot of I'm in my head so much, so I'm just like. So, like, a lot of my friends and family came. My parents were there. And, like, all I think is, like, I'm just about to disappoint all of you.
Yeah, they're like, your name's on the marquee. We all have to come. You're like, oh, no.
I wish you wouldn't. And then there's, of course, my mother did critique one of my jokes afterwards, as my parents like to do. It is a joke entitled "Back That Ass Up, Jesus," and she enjoyed the delivery of the joke, but she was like, it was not funny though. You should not joke about Jesus.
So I'm assuming you come from a religious family.
Yes, I do. I was raised fairly religious, and I think I'm the. I guess I'm the only one who kind of like broke away from it.
Right.
So I've always been a little less religious than the rest of my family. And even saying that now and knowing that my mom might hear this, it makes me a little scared.
Yeah, you're like, all right, I'm just going to be real political about it so that she's not like, oh, you don't believe in Jesus anymore. Yeah, exactly. I get that.
Yes. I have my doubts is what I'm saying, Bobby, and my mom.
Hey, I didn't even grow up with any religious, but I still feel bad when I say things that my parents know around my parents. Even when they're just, like, confirming it, I'm like, I don't know if that's a reaffirming head nod or I'm dealing with this head nod. I can't tell.
You can never tell. They always have that hold over you, your parents, you know? Yeah. It never goes away.
Because I'm just like, well, I don't want you to feel bad about stuff, but also I need to keep on living.
Yeah, I gotta live my life.
I'm sorry, I gotta keep moving.
I didn't want you to know that I do cocaine, but now you know, Mom. Are you affirming it, or are you just dealing with it?
And that's one of those, like, I know my dad listens to every episode of my podcast, and so I'm always just like we'll say stuff, and I'm like, he knows.
Yes, for Bobby's dad and my mom, as far as I know, Bobby does not do cocaine, and I do not do cocaine
We
either.
don't do cocaine, not actively. The rule is you just don't pay for it, therefore you can't get addicted.
Exactly, yeah. I think that's a good rule. So, very good rule.
Now, when you have to do like a at least 20, like a longer quote unquote headlining set, like things more than 15, do you do the same thing I do, which is for like a week beforehand, sit there structuring the entire thing? Like, what's the overarching theme and what's all going to fit inside these things? You think there has to be like a narrative tension?
I used to, and now I'm lazy.
I go in with that idea, and then I get on stage, I get a little loose, and then I don't do any of the bits that I planned.
Yeah, there's that. Yeah, I forgot at least 2 jokes the other night. I was like, I went a little short, and I was like, why did I go short? And then I realized which jokes I forgot. And I used to, I don't know if I think you were at the first open mic I ever went to, and I was very impressed with your joke writing and your presence. You have a great presence, and not just because you're tall. And so, and if you recall, back then I used to I would have my jokes rehearsed. Like I would hit 5 minutes exactly, and they would all be like perfectly structured and everything. And like I'm kind of over that point, at least at an open mic.
Because I mean, like it was because I was maybe a year in at that point, and it was watching you. And Brett McGinnis. Both of you would come in with structured stuff that was like so beat for beat, on, and I was like, shit, is this what I should be doing? Not rolling and being like, Jim, what's the theme? All right, I think I got 2 stories about that shit. All right, cool.
I think the issue was, if I can pinpoint an issue, I think so. Brett is like, he's an editor at the Reno Gazette Journal,
and writer, and knows how to structure that.
And I studied journalism as an undergrad, and then I went to law school, and so I was just used to structuring things and having to be super ready if I was ever going to speak publicly. And then once I got over that, I was like, nobody has anything ready. This is a half-formed joke. I'm just going to see if I can get them to laugh at this one line in the joke, and they won't laugh at anything else, and I'll throw the rest of it out.
Exactly. As long as you go in knowing, okay, I know this is the setup, and I know this is the punchline. Maybe I'll wobble a little bit on either side just to see like what I can fit in extra. But if none of it works, at least this part does, and I can have that.
Exactly.
I can have 20 seconds out of this open mic.
Yeah, so I no longer structure things. I used to.
Good.
And I used to be so scared on stage also that I wouldn't, like, move. Like,
I
couldn't even, like, reach for the mic stand because I was like, I'm going to forget what I'm saying if I do that. So I can now at least actively reach for a mic stand while telling a joke. And I think that's a big step for a comedian.
Being able to be on stage and know, like, get the mic stand away from you, even if you don't, like, walk around a bunch, being able to just, like, actively look at least 2 or 3 other people in front of you
exactly
is leaps and bounds, like, fuck, that's going to make them have an experience. Because I used to... Even still, sometimes when I get real nervous, I'll always look like I'm looking at the audience, but it'll be like over the heads of a bunch of people sort of thing.
Yes,
And then I'll look someone in the eye and I'll go like, oh,
yeah,
no.
exactly. Oh, no, they can see me.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, I forgot what I was going to say.
I'm still kind of there. Like, people who can do, like... Nick Larson out of Sacramento, who can do like amazing crowd work. Like
on fire.
I feel like he does like if he has a half hour, he does like 15 minutes of stuff he's written, and then the rest of it is just making stuff up while he's talking to the audience.
That's always crazy to me. I mean, like I feel like I could learn to do that. I could learn to be comfortable with the people to then do it, because I feel like both of us are in that realm where like we're normal people that can actually talk to others, unlike some of the comedians, they're not.
That is true. Yes.
So but we could get away with it, but at the same time there's still that hesitation, like, this could go anywhere, so I don't want that to happen.
Yes, there is that. I don't know if you remember one night, I think you might have been at the open mic, one night a bunch of my colleagues from work came, and actually a judge came too, because I knew her before she was a judge, and so she was like, yeah, I'll come see your stand-up, and so she came, and like after we left, she was like, I feel like I was on call tonight, because she's like a family law judge, and so she was like, there was just like, I think like Brooke got up and told a story like alluded to like having been touched as a child, and then like someone else got up and told a story about like drug addiction, and she was just like, what is happening? Like, am I in family court right now?
Yeah, you gotta warn normal people, like, this is like an AA meeting, but we're still drinking.
Yes,
that's
exactly.
What this is, and you're supposed to laugh, unlike at the AA meeting when you laugh and everyone looks at you.
Exactly. I have never conceptualized it that way, but that is very good.
That's exactly how it is.
I'm going to tell people that going
I know that's what AA meetings are like, because one time a waitress at a Denny's tried to sit my family in the middle of one, and we were like, can we get another table? And there was this dude up there, he's like half preacher, half homeless. He's like, alcohol makes you belligerent. And we're like, can we not be here?
Can I get a drink, please?
Yeah, maybe just coffee? I don't know what's going on here.
Why would she stick you guys near? Why would you stick a family near the AA meeting?
I think it was just one of those, like, fuck it, it's Denny's situations. Exactly. She was like, just order your 2 moons over my hammy and get out of here.
Yes. There's my daughter is 6, and when she was, I guess it was probably when she was 5, and right after she turned 6, there's that Denny's on Plum Lane here in Reno.
Yes.
And so I think she had seen a commercial or something. So every time we drove by it, she was like, I want to go there. So we had to make up excuses for why we couldn't go to Denny's every time we drove by it.
Yeah, you're like,
it's closed, I think. Sorry.
Yeah, maybe not. How about IHOP? Do you like IHOP? That one's at least cleaner.
It's a little nicer. There's drug dealers actively going into that Denny's right now, sweetie. I don't know.
That's a rough Denny's.
We took her to Denny's across the street from Disneyland, and that is the only Denny's experience she's ever had, and she loved it. And that's what she thinks Denny's is.
That's good. It's always... I love when kids get a thing in their mind of, like, this has to be... I want it because I've seen it, and so now it has to live up to that expectation.
Yes.
And when it doesn't, it's devastating.
Yes.
Because I did that with Walmart.
Ooh, what expectations did you have of Walmart?
I lived in Kodiak, Alaska as a child, and Walmart was just being built, and I had never seen a superstore before. So I'm seeing this massive building just being erected on the horizons, and my tiny mind is like, how many aisles can be in there? And I was like, we have to go to this Walmart. It's going to be mind-blowing. And we finally get there, and I'm like, oh, it's just like a big grocery store.
Yeah, it's just a store where you can buy groceries and underwear, I guess. I don't know.
So I'm still just like, I'm eternally disappointed in Walmart, as we all are.
Yes, for different. You find different reasons as you get older.
I built it up so hard in my mind, though.
Yes. As your kid, it's all the amazing things that are going to be inside. As an adult, you're like, are they giving people paid time off for family leave? I don't think so. That's evil corporation.
And they made it into kiosks. All right, no more cashiers. That's fine.
That's fine. People don't need money.
You can buy guns in this one.
So your Walmart was my Taco Bell. That was my disappointment. So when I was a kid, there were those Taco Bell commercials, and it was like they'd get the tacos. They were so big, and then they'd bite them, and the camera would kind of shake
because of full of flavor.
Yeah, and the camera shakes, and I was like, whoa, that's amazing. And so I convinced my parents to take me to Taco Bell, and they gave me one of those like limp, soggy tacos.
Yeah, where the bottom is already falling out.
Yes.
And you're like, oh, man.
Yeah, and there was barely any crunch when I bit into it. It was an eternal disappointment, so much so that 30 years later, I'm still talking about it.
I love in commercials the way they hold things to try to make them look bigger. Like, because I can just imagine right now, like the two fingertips on the edge of a taco to make the rest of the taco jut out from the hand.
Yes.
It's like such a sleight of hand trick to be like, maybe there's more taco behind the hand. There isn't.
There's never any more taco.
There's never any more.
There's never any more taco.
Like infomercials.
Yes. It's quite sad. So...
I'm still disappointed by flex tape. I tried slapping that stuff on my roof, and it's just kept leaking.
What is flex tape?
So there's like flex tape and flex seal, or like spray-on rubber sealant, and it's flexible but waterproof.
Okay, well, yeah.
Didn't work.
No, anything that's supposed to make something that's hard easy usually doesn't work.
Yeah, and it in fact made it more difficult and cost me more money in the end. Which is,
I have my wife sews, and I have this. She keeps this fabric glue around called liquid stitch. So like whenever like a button falls off of something, instead of, because I don't know how to sew, and I don't have 3 minutes to watch a YouTube video, so instead I just get this like fabric glue and glue the button back on, and then it falls off again a week later, and I'm just like, well, that's flex tape. It's the thing that's like, if you don't want to do this right, here's a solution.
Yeah.
And it will work for a day.
Quick fixes don't work,
They do
especially in comedy. Brought it back around.
There we
go. That's the first segment of this whole podcast.
Well done. Yes.
Yeah, I don't really have segments in this thing.
Oh, okay, I was going to hold for like a commercial break.
No, except for when we play Mad Libs at the end, only because that makes me laugh.
Oh, that's exciting.
To have that as a thing people can do.
So I would like to know, you are you are actively wearing a Savage Henry t-shirt.
Yes.
And I still don't understand, is Savage Henry a magazine or a comedy club?
Both.
Okay.
So they were just a magazine. They were a Savage Henry magazine. They've been going for quite a while now, at least maybe 10 years. Yeah, like they've been pumping things out pretty well. Over in Humboldt County, family owned and operated. Chris Durant, very nice gentleman, has been on this podcast on acid. And so
I'm going to have to go back and listen to that episode.
And so that was fun.
And you don't always have nice guys who were raised as Christians on your podcast. You talk about their kids.
Not always, but I feel like I should have more, because sometimes talking about like chainsaw beheadings of people on acid is not fun.
Oh Lord, I'm going to listen to that episode.
I don't remember if the
this.
chainsaw beheadings was on that one or the next one.
I don't care. I'm listening to them all from here on out. I don't care which episode. You've got me.
God, yeah. And so, there's no structure for this, but Savage Henry was a magazine. They just opened a comedy club earlier this year.
Okay.
I got to go up there. I brought Austin and Sam, and it was a great time. That was my first headlining set. They were just like, you get to headline because we know who you are. I'm like, I like this policy. I wish my local clubs would also take that policy.
I know your name. Get up there. You got a half hour.
Yeah, and so, I mean, that was nice to have that. And so now they have a comedy club. They have a festival every year that they've been doing for 6 or 7 years now. And it used to be a huge festival. Like, they used to go all out. They had people, like Kyle Kinane, Sam Talent, like a bunch of big names. The Billy Wayne Davis is there like all the time.
Okay.
In fact, I think he's going to be doing the 420 show there at the comedy club.
Really?
With a couple other comedians I really like.
impressive.
Yeah, and so like they have a big like network of people, but the last 2 or 3 years have been really rough for them. And so like I'm trying to help out and be as supportive as possible, because I'm like, I want this thing to keep going, because my first festival I had there was big and amazing, and I got to meet a bunch of people. And the second one, it was like me going to Reno Comics, like, if any of you want to get in the van, I've already bought a hotel. We'll get up to the festival. I'm sure you'll get at least one show. It'll be fun, I promise.
Wait, when is the festival?
October. You want to come?
My birthday is in October, so possibly that could be a great way to
celebrate. It's usually the first weekend of October.
Let's do it. Let's go to Savage Henry.
I think you'd have fun. I mean, it's crazy.
So, that's good. I like crazy fun. I have so little of that these days.
Yeah, we'll kidnap you.
Yeah,
and take
good.
you up to Humboldt. We'll take you to Murder Mountain.
Oh, good. That's great. Is that the name of a real mountain in Humboldt?
No, but
Lord.
It's the documentary they made on Netflix about Humboldt County.
Okay, that's good. That's great.
Yeah, but we can go do that, because Savage Henry is pretty dope. It's not. It's the only thing that gets me though is it's not like ours. It's not Reno's, and I wish Reno had something like that. Like Wayne seems to be trying. Like he's headlining locals.
Yes, yeah.
Co-headlining, but still, because like he did that for you, he did that for Caesar, he did that for Jostin. Like everyone's getting like a little bit of like something, but there's nothing.
On my
big.
resume, I dropped the co. It just says headlining.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Nobody else was there, as far as they know.
The same way if you were a co-anchor on a TV show, you'd be like, I was an anchor.
Yeah. I was an anchor. There was no co. Whatever.
So what was the order of it? You, and then was it Rudy?
Yeah, it was Rudy after.
Ortiz?
Yes, yeah. So Rudy, I think, and Rudy also had 5 minutes more than me, so he was like actually technically the real headliner, you guys. But whatever, I headlined. It's fine.
You headlined.
It worked out.
Your faces were the same size on the poster.
Yes, that is exactly
Time doesn't
it.
matter.
Yes, thank you. Something. So because I have the like this microphone, and I have these headphones on. I've been saying lately that everywhere I go. People say to me, they say, David, you have a voice that was made for radio, is what they say. And I would like to test that theory.
It's pretty smooth.
Can you give me a product to sell with my voice and let me repeat a tagline? I'm just making up a...
Go ahead and sell that ring pop in the bowl.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
And you get the tagline is, will you marry my flavors? So okay, the line. It's a very serious campaign.
Yes, the line that someone would use to get a child in their van.
So, will you marry my flavors?
Okay, let's try this. All right, what company makes ring pops? I got to figure that out.
The
Tops.
Tops.
That's surprising because they make trading cards, don't they?
I actually did not expect that at all.
That has to be some corporate consolidation that we were not aware of until just now. All right, let's try this. All right. New from Tops. Please try the watermelon ring pop. Please marry my flavor tonight, little girl. No, I went too far. It got weird. I made it weird.
A little weird.
Sorry, I made it weird.
You had to make it a child.
Yes,
that was marrying your flavor specifically.
I was trying.
Yeah, I get it.
You got to try things.
You got to try things like Kool-Aid Man style. Like if you told me that a giant pitcher was going to bust in my house and yell, "Oh yeah," and spill his liquids everywhere.
Yeah.
I'd be concerned, but they pull it off.
Yeah, they do. But the clearly pedophile tagline that I turned that into would not work.
Wouldn't
Maybe
work
voiceover work is not for me. As it turns
I think you could. I think you could learn to get there. You know?
Yeah. It's a journey. It's just like everything in life.
You just got to get comfortable in the studio.
Yeah, be less creepy. don't throw children in.
Yeah, don't go after. We'll start you in adult product. No, I don't know if we should start you in adult products.
No,
that's opposite move.
Somewhere between ring pops and dildos. What is between those two?
Remember those old CD compilations of like smooth R&B?
Yeah,
we could put those together.
Ooh, yeah, smooth R&B.
Over 40 artists on this collection.
Yeah, you got Genuine. R. Kelly. Nope, there we are again. Back to little girls. I I can't.
Man,
I
it's
cannot
always,
do it.
It always leads back.
No, it does.
Every road. That's unfortunate.
Well, okay. It's nice that I got this chance though to see if I could do it, and now I know I can't.
I think it almost worked, but there's too much pedophilia in the world.
Yeah,
so once we rid ourselves of that burden, you can feel free to take over the airwaves.
Also, I think that could be a unifying message for Democrats in the 2020 election.
No pedophiles.
Too much pedophilia in the world, and nobody can be against that, I think.
And but I'm surprised nobody has taken up that flag yet to be like, hey, guys, there's an alarming amount of pedophiles right now.
There are.
And everyone's just like, what? No. What? Stop.
Someone would come to the defense of the pedophiles. Someone would.
Yeah.
Pedophiles are people, too. That would be the rebuttal, I
He would
think.
be like some West Virginia senator. He's like, it doesn't say 18 in the Bible. Like, no, come on, West Virginia, every time.
Even in Nevada, I think age of consent here is 16.
At least.
And I remember creepily, I visited Hawaii with my parents when I was like 17. And on the day we were flying out, I grabbed a newspaper at the airport, and it was like Hawaiian senators, like, I think, debating changing age of consent from 14. And I was like, this is not... And I was 17 at that point. And even I was like, that's too young. Like, I was 14 3 years ago, and I know what that's about. Nobody needs to be having sex at that point.
I think except for Nevada, I've only lived in states where the age of consent was 14. Like
14?
South Dakota, Alaska, Hawaii, where it's just like, oh... These places, they enjoy some agriculture, some local life, and just a little bit of kitty diddling.
Yes, just a little bit, just a
spice of life.
Yeah, just a pinch of the kitty diddling. I feel like we've been on pedophilia for a long
way
time.
Too long, way too long. There's no good way to transition out of it.
There is not.
Let's see. Last week I had Sam Corbin on the show, and we were
the wonderful Sam Corbin.
We brought you up.
Oh, thank you.
Mainly just because of the fact that, like, you're one of the comedians around here that, like, insecure comedians that are newer will have a problem with.
Oh.
Because it's not like you're at every open mic going out there and suffering all the time.
That's true.
But you
That's
also have you just have your stuff together. Like,
that's
you just know how to structure things.
Yeah, I seem like I have my stuff together, but I don't really.
I mean, even if you don't have your stuff together, you're juggling so many balls successfully, and none of them have broken.
That's true. I'm not breaking balls around here. That's true.
You're not here
I will if I need to
break balls.
I will if I need to. Just know that. But thank you. I appreciate that. I try.
Do you think that comes from, like, your journalism background, where you just kind of know how to structure something to sound good to other people, whereas some people just do not have that?
I think so. I think to an extent. So I was actually never a journalist. I studied journalism, and then I went to law school right after that. So I do still obnoxiously bring up my journalism degree to win arguments when people don't know what they're talking about. But
you studied it.
Yeah,
it wasn't for you.
Yeah, I studied it, and I know what journalism was like in 2005, and I think that gives me some credibility, you guys, just so you know. But yeah, especially in law school. In law school, everything is about organization and structure.
Right.
Everything. Because you're conveying a ton of confusing information to a judge. And there's a little known secret, and I'm hoping no judges listen to this, but attorneys often talk about judges behind their backs as though they're not that smart and need to be spoon-fed things. And so in law school, they teach you, like, here's the structure to get the judge to understand exactly what you're trying to say.
Beautiful.
And so I thought, like, I thought comedy, I was like, well, I know how to speak publicly because I'm in court a lot, and I know how to structure things. And so the missing element was, like, am I funny? And the answer is sometimes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And that's it's like you're gold panning for your own jokes. You're like, where's the funny at?
Yeah.
There it is.
Exactly.
Found it.
Yeah. It's kind of annoying because there are some people who just go up and just are like, they just have it. They'll just go up. Adam Terry doesn't seem to ever really know what he's going to do once he gets up
and
there.
Then it's just magical every time.
Yeah, and he just goes up. Yeah, and he makes you laugh for 5 to 8 minutes, and you're just like, he didn't have anything planned.
Yeah.
Which is terrifying for me.
Yeah, I mean, I go up sometimes and I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do, and in my head I'm like, I know what I could do. I'm like, that's what it is. That's what it's going to be.
And I got to get there.
Yeah.
And I'm still this is the thing, is I'm still very much afraid of public ridicule and failure.
Ah, yes.
And so much of being a comedian and so much of being a lawyer is just being embarrassed publicly. Fuck. And that, it makes no sense for why I do it. So, there's that.
The good news is like both sides of your careers can now help each other. You know, like you do bad as a lawyer for a little bit, you have comedy to then be like, hey, sometimes things aren't too bad. You do really shitty at comedy, you'd be like, hey, at least you're also a lawyer.
That is true. Yes, I was talking to somebody about that the other night, and it was like we ended up on this joke like, if comedy doesn't work out, I guess I can just fall back on law, you know? Like, I did things in the wrong order, essentially. Yeah. I'm talking to all these people who are like, I started when I was 17. And I was like, no, right. Why would you do that? And there's no way I had the self-confidence to start when I was 17.
I think I technically started when I was 17.
Why?
But it was in the context of I was in a theater class, and we were putting on a comedy night, and I wrote a monologue that was a stand-up monologue for 5 minutes, and I had to hit the words exactly or else my grade would be lower.
Oh, okay. So you did word for word.
Yeah, and it was bad. It was really bad. I didn't attempt stand-up again for 6 years.
Okay, that bad. But you got out there, though.
But I got out there, and I tried it, and that's where I learned to be, like, comfortable on stage. Is like I started doing improv then, too, and I was like, oh, that's what this is.
Yeah, okay. That I could see.
And so it's a process.
Yes, yeah. I never had that confidence. I remember one time in high school, we had to do a monologue in a drama class. Mm-hmm. And in high school, basically, I disliked myself so much that I just wanted to be someone else. And so getting to do a monologue was amazing. It was like I just slipped into this character so easily, and I was in my memory I was amazing. And also my drama teacher afterwards said, "I wish I was directing the play this year. I would cast you in it."
Perfect.
And I was like, good. That was all fueled by self-hatred. And then I worked on myself after that to learn not to hate myself. And so I still do a little bit. Just a little bit. Just enough.
It's a healthy amount.
Yeah, a healthy amount. Everybody should just a little bit. It keeps you in check.
Yeah, it checks yourself and being like, I'm doing pretty good. Don't think that.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's not good. And so after that, it's hard for me to tap into that sort of like, I'm just going to slip into this character.
Yeah.
Because I've worked so much on like being myself and liking myself. So now I have actual trouble like being someone else, sort of.
Yeah.
And so if I could have just at that point just somehow honed that self-hatred and had it solidify
into stand-up.
Yeah, and had it go into stand-up, I might be famous by now, is all I'm saying.
I
could be famous.
I think if you had started back then, you know, with the knowledge set that you have now, you would be just a weapon of comedy.
That is true. I would be.
I'd be scared of you.
Yes, I would. You should be in that alternate universe as well.
Yeah, there's some kids coming out of Sacramento right now that are like way too good, and it really hurts me.
Have you met Benton?
Yeah, Benton's the main one I think of. Where I'm like, how are you Mark Normand and John Mulaney in one right now?
I met him on a show. I think that Morty the Mortician put me on.
Good.
Also out of Sacramento. And I was the headliner, and he killed. And then I had to follow him.
That is rough, because he is amazing.
So I was like, why do I have to follow this guy? I don't want to go up there. And Justin Rivera was there. And the whole time during his set, Justin Rivera is whispering to me, man, this guy's killing it. Yeah. I'm glad I don't have to follow him. Justin, come on!
Shut up, Justin!
I know he's killing. I can see that.
You're not helping.
But it was true. Yeah, I mean, he hit everything. All of his jokes worked. His timing was down.
His rhythm is crazy, and his jokes are hilarious. And it's really hard to then go up and be like, "Oh, hey, I wasn't confident that much before, and now, well, everything is great.
Exactly.
So let's see what I can say.
Let's see how this works. Just gonna see what works out." And even now, I'm traumatized from that show. Even now, I think back and I have nightmares about Benton killing it.
I wish I could do more shows in the SAC. I gotta start doing that this year, because the only time I've been over there is I did one open mic at the Punchline. Oh no, at Laughs. I went to Laughs. I did the open mic. I got bumped. I was number 11 and I got bumped like 8 times.
Because people they knew kept showing up.
Because people they knew kept showing up. And then what was even worse is another person named Bobby showed up, did amazing, and like just crushed it so hard that half the room left afterwards.
Great.
And then I had to go up there, and I was doing so shitty they gave me the 2-minute light so I could get off at 3. I was like, I'm so glad I was here till 1 a.m. on this Tuesday. Thanks for having me.
That is kind of... So this is the thing about Reno that I enjoy, is that you can get on a mic pretty easily, and you get, like, time.
Yeah.
Like, I did a mic I signed up for a mic in Chicago, and I sat in the back of a bar for an hour and a half while my wife and friends were just annoyed watching every guy. So this is the other thing, is that I've noticed that there's always these tropes and that catch on and stand up. And so that night it was every dude talking about his penis, and then somehow putting cum into that joke as well, because why not? And then
have to.
And then also that's when wokeness had made it into the mainstream, sort of. So everybody would go up with their like, I'm so woke, and then they'd go off on a joke about wokeness for like, and they had to use that phrase because that was the new phrase. And so it was just an hour and a half of that, and my wife, I think it might have been longer than that, and my wife and friends who we were visiting in Chicago just getting madder and madder at me. And then I didn't even get on after all of that.
Fuck!
I was like number 55 on this list, and I did not get on. So it was not great.
I did a mic in Chicago. I think it was like the Three Dead Moose open mic up there in Chicago. Yeah. And like I brought 3 friends, and so they let me go up like 23rd.
Yes.
But they were keeping a tight ship, so I only had to sit around for like an hour and a half.
Yeah. The prime 23rd spot.
Yeah, and so like I get up there, I do okay, but I was just enjoying myself because everyone on there was, pretty funny. Because it's Chicago, so someone's bound to be really good there.
Yeah.
And so really, like afterwards, kind of the same thing that happens to me around here is no one remembered me for my jokes. They were like, I love your laugh. Thanks for being here. I'm like, I'm glad I could be your best audience member tonight. But I also did comedy.
Yes. I also did tell some jokes.
Yeah.
And it would have helped if you laughed, ma'am.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
That's why, like, I need to formulate a joke for shows that I'm on like that, where I can be like, I wish this audience was full of me. You're all disappointing. If I was laughing for me right now, it would go over just as well as it did during your set.
That is true. That is true. But that is something that, like, when I'm not doing well and I hit a joke and I can hear you laugh, I'm like, all right, that was a good one. I'm gonna keep that line.
I think that's one of those things because, like, a lot of people, when they're laughing at jokes, they need the punchline to be like whatever their expectations are.
Yeah.
I'll even laugh at the journey of how people are getting to a place because I just love the structure of comedy and the way, like watching the way people's minds work.
Yes, yeah.
And so when somebody can hit me with both an amazing premise I never would have thought of, plus a punchline I didn't see coming, I will die.
Yeah.
I will fall over and die
I absolutely
because
agree.
it always gets me.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. It's very, and it always happens on those jokes where I'm like, I should have written that joke too. I'm always just like, I had all the elements, I had all the pieces. I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure you've heard John Mulaney's joke about Back to the Future.
I don't know if I remember that one.
So basically he's just talking about how weird of a film Back to the Future is.
Right.
And I had actually thought of a part of that joke before. And here's something. My wife and I both love Back to the Future. We bonded over it. We met in college. We started dating. The first Christmas we were together, we gave each other gifts. We exchanged them. We started opening them. We had each gotten each other Back to the Future on DVD because it had just come out. She had gotten the full screen, and I had gotten her the widescreen. So then we traded back because who's going to get the full screen? It cuts off part of the picture.
Never is good.
I married her anyway. Anyway, point is, so we love Back to the Future. And we had hit on the part that we had hit on, and I'm actually still working on a joke about it, was the fact that that it seemed that Biff was going to rape Lorraine in that car.
Yeah.
And we had been watching this movie since we were 6 years old.
Children.
Yeah. And we were like, once we realized that, we were like, what did you think he was going to do? And Leslie, my wife, was like, I thought he was just going to, like, kiss her a lot, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I don't
the
know.
Same thing that they were about to do to each other before Biff showed up.
Exactly.
Just hold hands and kiss.
I didn't know what was going to happen, but that's one of those weird. I was like, Back to the Future is a weird movie, and then John Mulaney just kills it. He hits every single element of that movie that is weird, and I'm just like, I knew all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Why couldn't I put it together? It was all right there. It's very annoying.
That's yeah. Do you have any bits aside from that one that you were like you started to do and then somebody Like you heard a more successful comedian do it somewhere else, and you were like, fuck!
So here's one, sort of. So I'm glad you asked this. So Josh Johnson, do you know Josh Johnson?
I don't.
Or of him? So unfortunately, I am very Josh Johnson-like. We are both somewhat thin, non-alpha African-American comedians.
It's a beautiful category.
Yes, it's a very small category containing me and Josh Johnson. So, and we both have fairly proper diction, let's say, as well. I think he's from the South. He has a little bit of a Southern twang.
A little drawl.
Yeah. So in my first year as a comedian, I wrote a joke about being offered cocaine at a party and how I didn't want to do the cocaine, but I also wanted to seem cool. And so the punchline of the joke was that I got out of it by saying, oh, I just ate a bunch of cocaine right before I came here. I'm so full I couldn't eat any more cocaine. And so I did that joke like during my first year, and then I just kind of like forgot it. I was like, well, it was an okay joke. And then about 2 months ago, Josh Johnson puts on his Instagram, I just did a show in North Carolina for 7,500 people. And so I start checking out his Instagram. He has the exact same joke I wrote 3 years ago, by the way. But he has substituted in heroin for cocaine, I think. We are so alike.
So close.
And I think I wrote the joke before him.
Yeah.
I at least put it out into the world before him. And I do have a video of it. And so now I've been going around to all these comedians having like a crisis of like, do I put it out there? Do I somehow try to claim this joke?
Do I tell him he stole from me?
Exactly. Before and that's the thing is there's a limited universe of jokes.
Yeah.
People are going to come up with the same jokes. The problem also being the narrow niche of like our personalities and our physiques and like how similar we are. It's just like, if I bring that joke back, people are just going to start being like, you just stole that from Josh Johnson. And I'm going to be like, no, I wrote it.
Mine.
It was my joke. It happened.
I have that same thing because, like, when I was first starting off up in South Dakota, I befriended a gentleman who was part of the comedy troupe Whitest Kids You Know.
Oh yes, I do know that comedy troupe.
He kind of gave me my first breaks as like a opener at stuff. So it was really cool. And he was watching me. He's like, "Hey, you remind me of my friend Ian Carmel." And I was like, "Oh, I'll have to check him out." And his album had just come out, so I check it out, and I'm like, this guy's fucking amazing. And I can see it. We're both large, boisterous gentlemen with high voices and a lot of wonder about the world, except he's funnier and Jewish, and I'm just kind of Asian, but only in looks. And so, like, I've been following him because that dude's hilarious.
Yeah.
And so I'm always making sure we aren't doing the same thing, and it finally happened where
really?
I was working on that joke for a while of I don't like the way that men's smells are in I don't what does Mountain Blast smell like, and then I came up with my own smells and things like I don't understand what an Arctic blast is. I was doing that sort of bit and working on that, and I was like, okay, I think this is starting to get good. And then I listened to the podcast Put Your Hands Together, and Ian Carmel was on there, and he did that exact fucking premise, but with a way funnier punchline, and I was like, well, god damn it, why do I even try?
You're just like, why did I even try?
His was way better.
And I should say that Josh Johnson is objectively a better comedian than me. I don't want to take anything away from him. I love his stuff. I just wish we hadn't written the same joke.
Yeah, and that's what's always tough when you're like, why do the better comedians have to write better jokes than me?
I know. Why do they have to take my premise and make it a million times better than I could have? That's all I'm asking. Just stop.
One of these days we'll get better at having our jokes be ours and put them out on the internet before other people can.
Someday. That's the dream, I think, for every comedian.
That's one of the things that I've been trying to work on for this year is like finding a place somewhere in Reno where we can do, like a pretty much only locals. Like I'm not out looking for a headliner kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like people in Reno doing, 10 to 15, we record it, then it's, we can put it out or put a compilation together or something.
We should do that.
Because it would be nice to have like a Best of Reno 2019. Yeah. Here's who killed it this year.
Yeah. Well, in Reno, I was pleased to find had a much better comedy scene than I ever knew.
Yeah.
So Brett McGinnis, who you mentioned earlier, brought me to my first open mic. I was like, oh, this is cool. I'll give it a try. And then from there, there's shows all over the place. There's a bunch of comedians. And everybody's friendly, which is nice. And I found that to be the case everywhere I've gone, actually. I have not yet met an asshole stand-up comic who's just like, dude, you suck. I hate you. Or just like,
You got to get in the rooms where they don't think that you're at, though.
Oh. No, that could be actually.
Comedians are never directly bad to your face. It is all just they're writing their roast jokes to your
Gotcha.
face, and then behind your back they just turn to all their friends.
Okay,
and they say
that
some shit.
makes sense. So I got to start leaving my like drop mic in rooms,
and then
get an
listen to it
app where I can
afterwards.
listen to. Okay, I got it now. I can always imagine what people are saying about me, and I always do imagine what people are saying about me, and it's part of the reason why I'm so anxious. So
the one thing that I always remember is, like, I'm just like, I feel like a lot of people hate me, and then I'm like, no one can hate me as well as I can hate myself.
Exactly, right?
I feel that warmth a little bit somehow.
No, I agree. Yeah,
somehow that helps.
Yeah, they can't possibly know what I know about me.
Yeah,
and so therefore their level of hatred could not be as
nuanced. It's not as personal.
Exactly.
It's not as nuanced.
Yes, the closest person would probably be my wife. She knows a lot of stuff. And this is another premise that I've come up with. I'm just putting all the premises out in the world for every better comedian to make into jokes, because I can't make them into funny jokes. I just have premises. But it was that I think that there are two kinds of married couples: ones who can calmly and rationally discuss their possible, maybe fantasy future divorce, and ones who can't. And my wife and I constantly discuss our future divorce. Constantly. Leslie is probably going to marry someone older, someone who's got more money. I'm probably going to go younger. Her name is Bianca. Leslie doesn't really like her, doesn't get along with her, but she's okay with my kids.
You're going to get the poodle wife.
Exactly. Yeah. And so, we like to discuss these things just in case. And the other thing is that we also keep backups of if let's say that this thing fell apart, babe, who's your backup? And here's the problem for us is as we're getting older, our backups are all starting to marry off. Or they're starting to present with issues that I'm like, oh, I can't have that.
That's not my backup anymore.
Exactly. You can't be my backup anymore. You're too freaking weird. And so, that's the premise. If you're listening, Josh Johnson, please turn it into a funny joke. Because I can't.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so there's that.
I was thinking of an idea where, all the comedians that have wives or significant others who are sticking around a while, who aren't comedians, having a wife roast, where they have to roast their wife, and their wife gets to also pair with one of the other comedians, and then get help with a roast for their significant other.
That is an amazing idea. I love that idea. Because that's the first half didn't sound so good to me. But
that's just you roasting your wife, and then she's like, okay, let me get my paper, and I'm sad.
Exactly. And divorce.
Yeah.
Because I always ask Sarah Rooker about that, because she makes a lot of jokes about her girlfriend, Shelby. Mm-hmm. And Sam Corbin also makes a lot of jokes about Kate. And so I always ask them, I actually ask Shelby and Kate, how do you feel about these things?
And they're like,
they're just kind of like, well, I'm used to it. Yeah, and I accept it. And then my wife, I ran a joke past her the other day that was just a light, just nominally. So I'll probably talk about this, but I'm hosting Big Chef's Big Gala, which is a fundraiser for Big Brothers Big Sisters of Northern Nevada.
Okay.
It's happening on April 13th. Buy your tickets now in Reno, Nevada. And so I have a joke because I mentor a teenage boy as a big brother, and I'm at some point during this gala, he's going to come out on stage, and we're going to do a big moment of this is so special, and you too should mentor a teenager. And so it's a very light joke about how I was worried about mentoring a teenage boy, and because he's getting to that point where he's going to have questions about sex. And it's not because it's awkward talking to a teenager about sex, which I'm sure it is, but it's because I've been married for 11 years and I don't remember sex. And so, so I tell this to my wife. It's not even specifically about her.
But it's just one of those marriage kind of things. It's not even a dig. It's just one of those things. You have to say it.
She didn't even giggle. She was just stone faced. She looks at me and she's just like, "That's not funny." And and the thing is, if she doesn't find something funny, usually she'll be like, she'll be like, well, the audience might laugh, but it's not that funny. This time I could tell she thought it was just not funny, which is why I told it when I co-headlined the other night, and it killed.
Yes.
It's perfect.
Take that, wife.
That's right. But that is as far into wife roasting as I've gotten, because I have to go home every night.
Yeah.
So,
and that's one of the things I would just love to see, the line people have to walk to make sure their relationships are still okay after a roast.
yes.
Because I'm too used to watching other comedians destroy each other with just like, who cares if
No
we're all
holds
okay
barred.
at the end of this?
Exactly, yes.
Yeah. Or at least that's how I go at roasts, and maybe that's not the best way to do it.
Yeah, no. Yes. I think that's the way it goes. Like, whenever I watch roasts, I imagine that the comedians just thought, like, if I can get this guy to kill himself tonight after this show, good.
Yeah.
So that's what it feels like when I watch roasts. I'm just like, and that's the thing, is like, that's why I feel like I can't do a roast. I don't have that meanness in me, and I cannot summon it. At least not for people I know. I can summon it for other people.
And that's the thing, is you just have to have a healthy dose of hate for everyone you know.
That is it, yes. A healthy dose of misanthropy? Is that the word
I
I'm looking
think
for?
that would work.
There we go.
Know, like,
that was a big word, and I don't know if I used it correctly. I'm just going to throw it out there. Someone can write in if I've used it wrong.
Yeah, everyone call in 775-391-0679. Tell us what big words you know.
I really enjoyed that David guy, but he's not very smart. He doesn't know how to use words. He sounds smart, but he's not.
I haven't done a roast. Well, I guess I don't know if I should count roasting Jim that one time. That was.
Was there a roast of Jim?
Yeah. Well, it was just me and Jim roasting each other, and I just decimated him with an iron fist.
Yes,
over the Christmas.
Yes.
It was over the Christmas party that we had.
This is local stand-up legend Jim Fleming.
Yeah.
I take it.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I think he wasn't expecting me to actually bring any game at all. So he went real light with it.
Yes.
And I was kind of disappointed because I went so dark with it.
You went pretty hard.
I think the last joke was Jim's getting fat and he does cocaine and drinks too much. Seems like the only thing he hasn't impulsively consumed is a loaded pistol. That was what I closed with.
Yeah, that's the joke where you're hoping he goes home and kills himself after. Just
putting things out. Yeah, so like I was going hard.
Yeah, that's pretty hard.
And he made like one joke about me being the virgin people like sacrifice a volcano.
Yeah, that's
solid. Like, okay.
Yeah.
That was the only one I remember. Everything else was real forgettable.
Bobby doesn't have sex. Burn.
I'm like, I hang out at your open mics. That's why.
You're still burning him. You cannot stop.
I can't stop. Jim, you know I can't stop.
It is a new financial quarter, and you are still burning him.
That's why I need roasts, because I will just be reflexively mean to people for fun.
Yes.
Even though, I love all people and I love the scene and I'm a jovial person, but sometimes I just want to be mean and have an outlet for it. Where maybe there's prizes would be nice.
Yes, the prizes are the thing, because otherwise it's just the internet.
Yeah.
So if there's no prizes.
I still have my apron for winning the Your Bitch Ass Dad's second place.
Oh, nice.
Which is the tie-dye one. Underneath, I don't know where I got that
what's one. What's the frilly one?
I don't know why I have two different aprons. I don't remember getting either of those.
I don't even own one apron. No, we own a joke apron. My wife and I bought a joke apron. It's the statue of David, and it's anatomically correct, and the penis is where the penis should be. So it's a wonderful joke for your 6-year-old to see you wearing. It's great.
Just walk around with your dick out with flour all over your body.
Yeah, why not? No, yeah. So CPS, if you're listening, call now. 1-800. What was the number? I forgot it.
775-391-0679. CPS, call us. Tell us about kid stuff. I don't know. I don't know how stuff works.
Yeah. Well, so that's it. So, Bobby, when are you going to have some kids? Don't you want to have children?
I did write a joke recently about how, because I bought this house because I was figured, it would be nice to have something even after, like, my comedy career dies and there's not just comedians living here all the time.
Yeah.
That would be nice. But at the same time, I'm constantly having to reckon with the fact that just a bevy of local comics are jerking off in my child's future bedroom.
There is that fact, and you do have to remember that.
Oh, God, I'm going to have to replace so much carpet.
Yeah, you really are. Just do away with it. My advice is hardwood flooring.
Yeah,
it's just I
Bleach
purposely threw in flooring because I was going to end on hardwood, and it was just too. It was too
on the nose.
Yeah, too on the nose. That's where hardwood flooring,
God.
and that you can always just clean quite easily. So, yeah. That is my advice for your future children who will live in this house.
I don't know about that whole settling down situation. I'm a wild man.
Yeah, you can't be tamed.
Out in the night.
You out here taming these hoes. Wait, is that? I'm sorry, Mom. I didn't mean to refer to women as hoes.
He didn't mean the hoes as in like just women.
No, yes.
Anybody
any
gendered
can be a hoe.
Yes,
yeah. Any gendered hoe. It
All
really
hoes.
It doesn't matter.
We're very inclusive.
No, when I told when I told my dad that I was getting married, I was 24 years old, and it was the summer before I went to law school.
Oh man!
And my dad was like, "You sure you don't want to just like play the field a little bit in law school?" I was like,
maybe marry up a little bit.
Like, sure, you want to get you love this girl? Like that was my dad's take on it. So I was like, damn, I guess
this is such a dad move.
I know.
Be like, you sure you're gonna lock it down now?
Yeah, you're about to become a lawyer, son. You know what I mean? That's what my dad was saying. You know how much booty you about to get, son. You know, man. That's what my dad was saying.
That lawyer money.
So that's what my dad was getting at.
Just walking into places, putting down a pocketbook and going like, excuse me, table for one for lawyer?
Well, as I told my little sister, when you become a lawyer, it's quite annoying because people think that money grows on trees for lawyers, and it does not. It falls from the sky, which is a completely different...
You still have to harvest it.
Yeah, exactly.
Catch it.
Well, you pay someone to harvest it. I mean, come on. You're still a lawyer, for goodness sakes.
10%.
Yeah.
Maybe not even that.
Yeah, no, okay. So there's that. But yes, my dad, apparently he was a dog. I guess.
He was hoping. He was just like, all right.
Or he was hoping to live out his dog dreams through me vicariously.
Right. He was just like, I don't ever get any side of it. He was hoping that you were going to play the field. He was like, I didn't do it. I need you to.
Exactly. And I was like, you raised me to respect women too much, Dad.
He's like,
sorry.
damn it.
I'm going to marry this girl and stay faithful to her. Sorry.
I made the wrong choice.
Sorry to disappoint you, Dad. I'm sorry.
All right, let's play Mad Libs.
Mad Libs.
We're done disappointing fathers.
Yes.
Except this part. This part's pretty disappointing.
Oh yes, yes. Oh, there's theme music. What is that music?
It's just royalty-free Mad Libs music.
Oh, cool.
All right, let's see. Which one should we play? Let's go with The Judge's Decision.
Ooh,
so topical.
It is.
Now, David, can I have a noun?
A noun. Dog.
Dog.
This is going to be very embarrassing if I cannot name a part of speech that you name.
You'd be surprised how many people just don't know any of these things and they take forever to think of them, and it makes me laugh every time. Can I have another noun?
A noun. Bottle.
Bottle. And now a part of the body.
Coccyx.
Coccyx.
Coccyx? Is that how do you pronounce that?
There's a bunch of C's in there. I'm going to go coccyx.
Coccyx. I think that's it.
Can I have another noun?
Linda.
Linda. Can I have an adverb?
Ooh, an adverb. Can you remind me very quickly what an adverb is?
That is what is it? Not an action. Things ending in ly.
Okay,
that's that's how I remember it.
As in, David stupidly forgot what an adverb was.
Yeah,
stupidly.
There
we go. I think I knew that. I was so afraid of saying it, though, that I was going to get it wrong, and then people are going to be like, this guy's a lawyer?
If you get it wrong, it's funny.
Yeah, well, yeah, not for my clients.
A person in the room who is female.
Yeah. Wait. I can do this. Wait. Why don't you have anything with like pictures or labels on it?
I just don't.
You have a copy of Flowers for Algernon, a very depressing book. Well, how about also Linda's mom?
There
we go. Linda's mom is here as well.
And now an adjective.
An adjective. Red. As in R-E-D.
And now a plural noun.
Deserts.
And now a person in this room.
Bobby.
And now an animal.
Guinea pig. I own 2 guinea pigs. I own 3 dogs and 2 guinea pigs, and if you would like any of them, please contact Bobby after this and come to my house and pick them up.
Call in at 775-391-0679. Tell us why you deserve a free guinea pig.
Yes, you may also borrow one of my children for a limited time, but only if you take them to ice cream and bring them right back.
Take them to go see Dumbo.
That's what I'm doing tonight. I forgot about that. I should probably remember that.
Can I have a plural noun?
Ratchets, plural.
Ratchets. And a place.
The planet Mars.
Planet Mars. And now another person in this room.
David. We're going to run out of people in this room really quickly.
Can I have another adjective?
Big. I'm so scared. I'm so scared.
You panicked so hard, you just went with the simplest thing possible.
I'm so scared.
Can I have another noun?
Whenever we get away from nouns and verbs, I get very worried.
Another noun.
Another noun. How about rocket ship?
Rocket ship. And now another noun.
Microphone stand. Wait, that's not a noun. That's 2 words. I am so nervous right now. You did not tell me there was going to be
another noun.
A grammar test.
There's another noun.
How many nouns are there?
Actually, there's a few more.
Dear Lord. Okay, I'm running out of nouns.
He's panicked looking around the room.
I have the entire universe of persons, places, and things available to me, and I am so scared right now.
You can't think of any of it.
A 1998 Chevy Equinox.
Chevy.
I don't even think they made Equinoxes in 98, but that's what I'm doing. This is really causing me a lot of anxiety.
Can I have another noun?
Oh, Lord. A coaster.
And now an adjective.
Oh, for God's sake. An adjective, okay. It's something that is...
Describe anything.
It's... forlorn. Is that an adjective? Is that an adjective?
Yeah! That's a crazy pick. And now finally one more noun.
Okay, I had another good adjective ready to go. That's too bad. How about... dumpster fire, because that is apropos of everything.
Fire. And now let's see what we have. It's the Mad Libs collection, The Judge's Decision, when it was my turn to audition for Dog Idol, the reality show where people compete to be the best solo bottle. I sang from the depths of my very coccyx. When my song ended, I could hardly catch my Linda as I stupidly awaited the judge's response. First, Linda's mom was very kind. She said, "Well, the good news is that you look red, and you really connected with the deserts in that song." Then Bobby said, "You know, guinea pig, I dug your ratchets, and I thought I really had a chance to make it to the planet Mars."
Yeah.
But then mean old David said, "Horrid, terrible, big." Sounded like an animal trapped inside a rocket ship. I gasped and shouted, "Well, you just don't know anything about 1998 Chevy Equinoxes." I stormed out of the coaster. I was going to make it as a forlorn singer, whether that judge from Dumpster Fire Idol liked me or not.
That actually worked out very well. And I will say this, Linda's mom has always been so nice to me. And it's nice that it held true in that story.
Yeah. And again, another theme coming through. You were the meanest person to yourself in that story.
I was, yeah. That really worked out actually quite well.
All right. Let's see. Well, what stuff do you have to plug? What's coming up for you? You got that benefit coming up?
As I said, I have the benefit coming up on April 13th to benefit Big Brothers Big Sisters of Northern Nevada. I believe it's like $100 a ticket, but it is for a good cause. Dope. It's one of those things where people with lots of money go to.
Yeah, and they can write it off if they want to.
Like last year, like a cake, and it was a beautiful cake made by a former little sister who has now become a chef. Very talented woman. the cake sold for like $2,000. And I was like, I would get that cake bronzed if I had bought it for that amount of money, and it would be on my mantle every night. So there's that. I've also got the second leg of, or the second coming of There Goes the Neighborhood comedy tour and competition, returning to Reno, Nevada, May 9th, I believe is the date for that, at which I will be appearing. I'll be at Pioneer Underground next weekend with headliner Kabir Singh, who is a comedian who I very much look up to and who I bombed in front of last time, and so I got to try and make it up to him.
You can make it up.
I'm going to try.
You'll be good.
Kabir, if you're listening, please watch again. I can do better.
He can do better.
I can do better.
I know he can. Honestly, I can't redeem myself ever at Pioneer. I feel like I always do shitty every time I go there, which is why now you can catch me down at the Carson Nugget. I believe I'll be there in 2 weeks. The weekend of April 12th. So I think I'll be doing the 12th and the 13th. Nothing set in stone yet. I haven't signed any papers.
No,
I'm just putting it out there in the world.
Well, that's how the secret works.
Yeah, and so I'm going to do that. The next Dead Panda comedy show, I'll be on that with fellows Austin Baca. I believe Pat Shillito's on there. I forgot the headliner's name, but I promise me and him will become good friends later. I believe that's April 26th. So that's what's going on in April. Let's see. Let's get into personal recommendations. David, what are you feeling in popular culture right now?
In popular culture, currently, I am feeling. Let's see. What am I?
It can even be old things. If you're just like digging up old things to feel good about.
So here's the thing. So last year, Eminem surprise released an album called Kamikaze.
Right.
I have found that album to be extremely addictive, and I don't know why. And I have a feeling that it has something to do with Eminem having been a big part of my own youth. I am now 36 years old. When he came out, I was like 16, 15 years old or something like that. And so the fact that he's still doing it and I can understand what he's saying and there's no auto-tuning or weird sounds.
It helps.
Yeah, it's like old man rapping. And I'm really feeling that Eminem album. So much so that like the first song on the album was like my most listened to track on Spotify last year, followed by like Baby Shark or something like that. Because my kids listen to my Spotify account also.
Okay, that Baby Shark tune though, it slaps.
Fire. It goes hard. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie.
Especially when after Grandpa Shark gets in there and they go fishing.
Yeah.
Although it's too short. I'm just gonna say it's too short. There's not enough narration going on.
Cousin Shark. You got to get into the second cousin once removed Shark.
Stepdad Shark.
Alcoholic mom shark. Yeah, I get it. You just got to explore the facets of the family. Yeah. We don't know much about them. That's true.
We made a modern family. You know, Sofia Vergara, Shark, it could work out.
Yes, gay couple Shark who nobody really minds because we're all cool with it. I get it. It's all there. I get it.
So you grew up on a lot of Eminem, though? So you just really got into that?
I was always the kid who was, I was never a rebel, but I enjoyed rebels. So I liked having friends who would swear and get into trouble, and Eminem was kind of like that friend for me.
I definitely feel that. I was like... I had that rebellious spirit.
Yes.
Just never did anything with it. I was just like, why would I do that? That sounds like it would hurt.
Yeah.
Or I'd get yelled at.
Yeah, I'm not going to execute this plan.
Yeah. Just give it to other people and see what they do.
Yeah, watch them do it.
It was fun to watch Jackass. It wouldn't be fun to do those things they did.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly it.
God, I feel that so hard. Let's see. A thing I've been into. So, Band of Brothers, who everyone knows and loves. It's a great miniseries put out by HBO and by Playtone, Tom Hanks' company. They made a second one called The Pacific, which was then the Pacific Theater of World War II.
Yes.
It's not bad.
Yeah, I watched the first episode of The Pacific when it came out like a decade and a half ago or whatever.
It just didn't hit me back then.
Yeah.
Now it's just free on Amazon Prime, so I'm like, I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, I got time.
You know, it had, what's his face, who's the Punisher?
What is that guy's name?
John Barenthal.
Yes, thank you.
I was like,
well, and that guy for some reason was like in Reno on a regular basis, like a couple months ago. Like people were like, "I saw John Barenthal at Walmart," or like they were just running into him all over town. I wonder if
he was just like punishing around the area.
That could have been. Reno needs some punishment.
If they didn't tell everyone that they're needing extras for the Punisher, I'm gonna be so mad. But yeah, I was trying to watch the Pacific. Oh yeah, it has Rami Malek in it.
Really?
Yeah, and
Academy Award winner Rami Malek.
Yeah, and you know, he's doing really good in there.
Yeah.
But the first time I ever saw him, he was like the creepy gay neighbor kid on that. What is it? I forgot what the fucking show was called. That's gonna bother me now. I hate when things fall out of my brain.
But he seems so young. Like, he must have been a child when he was in the Pacific,
he was like
right?
he
or
was
a teenager.
Yeah, he was maybe early 20s tops.
Okay.
You know, but yeah, like actual like would have been sent to World War II.
Yes, exactly. Yes, go fight.
Yeah, and so but he does a really good character who's like kind of fucked up. And at one point, there's this part where like the character they're following around is like trying to like eat some food, but he's got some PTSD going on. And Rami Malek's character is just like above him, throwing rocks into the half blown off head of a Japanese soldier. It's just like a skull bowl he's tossing rocks in.
Yeah.
And there's just gore splashing around as he's like trying to make it in.
Yeah.
And I'm like, God, this show is crazy.
Yeah, I think I remember from the first episode, if my memory serves correctly, at one point the American soldiers come upon a bunch of the Japanese soldiers and disarm them and then proceed to execute them.
Yeah.
And that's where I was just like, okay, well, I don't need this in my brain right now.
Mm-hmm. So that's what I've been working
I have to go on MySpace because it's 2004. So
it's not as good as Band of Brothers, so don't watch Band of Brothers and then think, I'll follow it up with watching this. Because that's what I tried to do. I watched Band of Brothers last year, and I was like, so good, let's follow it up with the Pacific. And I was like, it doesn't.
It's not the same.
It doesn't go.
Yeah.
So now I'm trying to watch the Pacific again, which now it's okay.
I might try it.
Yeah. Try it. It's got good characters and it's got a solid, story structure. And it's nice that these guys that they're following, they aren't the best. They're like the second best. So there's a few times where they pull into an area and Chesty Puller and his group of people are all coming out of there battered up, like shot. Then there's Chesty Puller like, all right, it's up to you guys now, like chewing on a cigar. Like, go get him.
Yes, go finish it up, guys.
Yeah, and so it's really funny to watch that happen.
I like that.
Yeah, and so watch the Pacific. Really, that's pretty much everything I've got for today. Unless you've got more words.
No, I've got to go take my children to see the motion picture Dumbo.
All right. Guys, go watch Dumbo. This has been The Petri Dish. Follow David Gamble Jr. on all social media platforms to keep up with his comedy antics. And don't forget to vote. I don't know.
And, follow me on Instagram at DGJ Comedy. Again, that is DGJ David Gamble Jr. Comedy.
And he has clips of stuff on there, too. So you can have yourself some fun. I feel like I should make a comedy page one of these days.
You definitely should.
I'll get on it.
It's worked wonders for making me feel bad about myself. So, on that note.
So, yeah.